The second star to the right shines in the night for you to tell you that the dreams you plan really can come true. The second star to the right shines with a light so rare. Hey everybody, it is time to go second star to the right and straight until morning. This is a Peter Pan themed episode for episode 174 here at Movies You Miss Podcast. V, how are you today?
I don't want to grow up.
Neither do I, and I sure as hell have not, and my wife can attest to such things. And that is why this episode is going to be fantastic. Can't wait to get into these movies. I love mine more than yours, but I love them both.
I love mine more than yours, John, so it's okay.
Okay, well, here we go. This is going to be an interesting one then. If that's not a hint at all with what I just sang, that is the opening to the original Peter Pan film from 1953 from Walt Disney Animated Pictures, and V's choice is another one that we'll talk about in just a little bit. But before we get into that, welcome back to Movies You Miss Podcast. This is our second new episode after our little bit of a hiatus that we took over the summertime, over the month of July, really, more than anything. And we are jumping into Peter Pan-themed films, everybody. And like V just said, V does not want to grow up, and neither do I.
But now I have the Toys R Us song stuck in my head.
I don't want to grow up. I'm a Peter Pan kid.
Perfect.
Toys R Us really did fit into the world of Peter Pan because I didn't want to grow up when I was a kid, and I don't want to grow up even though I'm still over 30 and very, very close to 40.
You really are very close to 40.
Yeah, thank you very much for that reminder. I reminded myself as well, but that's okay.
The only reason I'm excited for that birthday milestone is because we get to use the new saying on our podcast.
I know. I'm excited for that one, too.
Coming to you in 2026.
Yeah. Stay tuned. But before we do all of that and get into these picks for this week, let's discuss the movies that we've seen in theaters or on streaming over the last week. V, I hope that you did me proud and saw at least one movie.
I absolutely did you proud because I saw 3 movies this week.
Oh, all right. Perfect.
And I also did myself proud because they were all documentaries.
Oh, well, all right then.
So I've surpassed you on the documentary front for this year, as it should be.
You actually have. We almost tied because I almost went to see a documentary just the other day, but I ended up not going to it, and now I feel like I should have.
And it was the perfect re-entry for me for new movies this year. I've been avoiding new movies for a couple weeks, first because I was really sick, and then, as most of you know who've been listening, I saw a string of just shit movies.
Yep.
And so I was a little gun-shy, and I realized this would get me back in the game, documentaries. And I had such a great time with all 3 of them. I'm going to start with the one that was cool, but I did like the least compared to the other 2. This is Miley Cyrus Something Beautiful. And
oh, yes, I've heard of this one.
It's an artistic performance. There's no talking. She actually just performs her album, but it's on a set, and there's costume changes, and there's editing, and it's a big production. So it's not just like a concert that you're watching. And I thought it was absolutely beautiful. I'm a big fan of Miley Cyrus, actually. I think she has an incredible talent and voice. This was really beautiful. I thought she did a great job. She designed the entire performance, and I think it's a really great thing to have on in the background when you're cooking dinner, and so you can look up every once in a while and see what she's doing. Or if you have a party going on, you could put it on, and then you have music and something interesting to look at. It's hard for me to just sit and watch a concert or sit and watch a musical performance because I'm usually at a concert jumping around or what have you, and so for me, I just don't have the focus to just sit down completely. I was able to do this while I was making dinner, actually, and I absolutely loved it. So it was great. But the other 2 documentaries were just so spectacular. And those were, first and foremost, one that you will love, Sally. It's a documentary about Sally Ride, the astronaut.
Oh, yes.
It was so poignant. The tone of the movie matched Sally Ride's personality. She was a very private person and very even-keeled. It's actually one of the reasons she was selected to be an astronaut. And so the tone of this documentary fit her so well. It felt like her. It was so beautiful. And the main person who drove this documentary in terms of the interview was her partner of 27 years. And nobody knew about her until Sally died in 2012. She kept it a secret because she had to, because she could not work for NASA as a gay woman. She had even married a man to cover things up.
Oh my God.
And the details of her life and what she had to endure, and there's this raw look at the sexism and the resistance that these women put up with, these first 10 women who were astronauts in the 1978 class of NASA. And I loved how they explored that as well. And so yes, a wonderful documentary. It's on the can't miss list this year for me. It's called Sally, and it's on Hulu.
Awesome. Well, then I'm going to have to watch that. I had no idea about this, and that really
You're
upsets
gonna love
me
it.
because I'm a massive NASA nut, and I cannot believe I'd never heard of this one.
I randomly saw an ad for it, I think either on YouTube or on Instagram, and that's the only reason I knew about it. There's hardly any marketing for it. And the last documentary I saw this week was unreal. It blew my mind. There's several bombshells. It's this beautiful portrait of a family. I thought I knew this story, and I absolutely didn't. It's called My Mom, Jane. And it is about Jane Mansfield, the actress. And
yes.
It's directed and narrated and driven by her daughter, Mariska Hargitay, who is, of course, the star of Law & Order SVU. And oh my God. I cried in Sally too, but I was weeping in My Mom, Jane. It was so incredible. I could not believe this story. I yelled at the TV several times because it was just so shocking. And it really made Jane Mansfield a person for me because I just know her as the old Hollywood movie star and a sex symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so beautifully done and so heartfelt by her daughter. And anyone who's ever watched Law & Order SVU or anyone who ever saw Jane Mansfield movies or was a fan of Jane Mansfield, please watch this documentary. It's the best documentary of the year for me so far. And it's definitely on my can't miss list. Again, it's called My Mom, Jane, and it's on HBO.
I remember when it came out, I almost watched it a few times, but I still have not done that, so I will have to do that after I watch Sally.
Yes, it blew me away. Please watch it.
Awesome. I will have to check both of these out. And I'll likely check out the Miley Cyrus one, too, because Amy's a big fan of Miley Cyrus, and I like her
Amy
older, like her, jazzy type of stuff. She's got a cool voice, so I'll check that out with her as well.
I like a lot of her covers, too.
Yeah, she does some really cool jazzy covers, very smoky, smoke room status type stuff.
Yeah, and so those are the movies I watched this week. Thank God I'm back on the wagon. And
you are
putting some movies under my belt, so I'm excited now to hear what new movies you saw this week.
All right, let's start with, I don't even know which one to start with. I saw 6 movies over the last week.
Christ.
I saw 6 movies, technically 7, because I went and saw The Naked Gun again. I needed to see it another time, and I really highly recommend you get on that as soon as you possibly can, V.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that, I saw 4 movies on streaming this week. I'm going to start with the one that I'll just start with this one. I watched the new John Krasinski and Natalie Portman movie with Domhnall Gleeson as well, directed by Guy Ritchie. This is Fountain of Youth on Apple TV. And Fountain of Youth was a lot of fun. I put it on when Amy actually came to join me in the theater room. I've been wanting to watch this movie for a few weeks. I like everybody involved. Not so much John Krasinski, but I'm a Guy Ritchie fan, and I love me some Natalie Portman and Domhnall Gleeson. Completely exactly like Sahara and The Mummy and National Treasure. It is super light. It's PG-13. I don't really know why. It could have been PG, but it's a fun family flick, and it is completely forgettable, but at the same time, it's worth checking out if you're bored one day.
Yeah, don't put it in the same category as The Mummy. How dare you?
It's got elements of The Mummy. I'm not
or
saying it's anything
Sahara.
like The Mummy. It's got elements of both, for fuck's sake.
Okay. It just seems...
It's a fine movie. It's like a C+ movie.
Yeah, it just seems
while the others
like
are A+,
crappy,
but
very forgettable throwaway streaming movie from Apple.
That's exactly what it is.
There we go. Okay.
Directed by Guy Ritchie.
Dude, what is wrong with him lately? I mean,
I don't know, but we're going to have a very interesting conversation coming up very soon.
Oh, no.
Oh,
no. This might be bad. Okay, stay tuned for the next couple weeks, folks.
Yes. Moving right along, another film that I wanted to see in theaters but didn't get a chance to because it really didn't last long in the city that I live in. But this is the Bill Skarsgård starring and also starring Anthony Hopkins. This is a film called Locked.
I read a couple reviews for that movie, and it made me not want to watch it.
It is a remake of a remake, so this is the third go-round of this movie. It's fine. I didn't turn it off, which is good news. But I don't think it's anything that's like, oh my god, that is a killer flick. It had a few moments that were very shocking, but overall, another C+ movie. If you are bored and you have the time to watch it, give it a shot. I'll probably put it on my could miss list for 2025.
No, if you want to watch a Bill Skarsgård movie, go watch Boy Kills World instead.
Well, there's that too. Yes, both of those. Yeah, Boy Kills World is pretty badass. Definitely. This next film was another streaming movie that I have had on my to-watch list for the last 3 months, and I finally pushed play on it. This is Matthew McFadden and Gael Garcia Bernal and Nicole Kidman in a film called Holland. A friend of mine in Australia saw my story when I was watching Holland and said that she was excited to watch it, and we had a back and forth about the film afterward. I would give this one also another C+. Nicole Kidman's always a lot of fun. Gael Garcia Bernal is great. And this was Matthew McFadden like I hadn't seen him before, which I really liked. It's a bit of a twisted, dark tale. And if you're looking for something like that, give it a shot. It's going to likely be on the could-miss list, though.
Okay.
And the final streaming movie I watched was on Hulu. This is starring Ben Foster and Cobie Smulders. This is a film called Sharp Corner.
You had me at Cobie Smulders.
Yeah, that's what had me too. On top of that, I do love me some Ben Foster, and this one I had never heard of. I was scrolling through Disney Plus/Hulu because they are combined now, and I was looking for something new from 2025, and this one grabbed my attention because of both of them. This is a very interesting, original flick. It's dark, and it's got some comedy in it. This is Ben Foster like I've never seen him before. And if you know who Ben Foster is by name, great. If you don't, he is one of my favorite roles in Lone Survivor. He's also in Alpha Dog and Hell or High Water. He's had quite the career, and this flick is pretty cool. I would give this one a high C+. A lot of C pluses in the streaming world this week, but it was enjoyable. Amy watched the last 40 minutes of it with me and said, how was your boring movie at the end? So she didn't really know what was going on. But I enjoyed it for what it was, and I would recommend it to a certain collective of people, but it's likely a could miss as well.
I would love to do Ben Foster movies for an episode. I think he's the most underrated actor working right now.
He's certainly one of them, yeah. I think you have Alpha Dog on your list somewhere in the future.
Well, and I was also thinking of Hostage.
Oh my gosh, yes, Hostage. That is a badass flick.
He's terrifying in that film.
Yeah, very much so.
And he's so good in Hell or High Water with Chris Pine.
Hell yes he is.
Well, a little bit of a mediocre week, I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's fine. Like I said, C+ is not bad. They passed, they got at least a 76%, at least a 76 out of 100.
Wow.
But moving on to
did you get a lot of C's in school? Is that why you remember that number?
Oh, I'm a C student all the way through and through. Okay. Except for my senior year of high school, I actually got several A's and B's. I don't think I actually got any C's my senior year. But yeah, throughout junior high up until junior year, I was a C+ student, absolutely.
All right.
So that wraps up the 4 films that I saw on streaming this week. I will talk about the next 2 that I saw in theaters. I went and saw Eva Victor's directorial debut that she also stars in, also co-starring Naomi Aki. This is the film titled Sorry Baby.
Okay.
I never saw a trailer for it. I only ever heard about it through scrolling through Facebook and just watching a few clips. It's a heavy subject matter. It's in the realm of the Me Too world, but it is it's also very, very funny at times, and I enjoyed the movie. I went to the theater V that you and I saw the Zone of Interest in, and
nice.
had a good time. Yeah, I highly recommend Sorry Baby for anybody that does not mind a slow burn dialogue fueled flick.
I love that theater so much.
It is. It's a badass theater. And in no particular order, because all these movies were pretty much on the C+B- world, the last film that I will talk about that I saw over the last week was Zach Cregger's new flick, Weapons, starring Julia Garner and Josh Brolin.
This film's on my list. I was excited to see it.
It's on a lot of people's lists. A lot of people are excited to see it. I was looking forward to it, and it's not a bad movie. It's just not anything that I thought it was going to be. I thought that it was very well done. I like the way that he broke the story down. If you've seen Barbarian, which I don't think you have, V, but if you've seen Barbarian, get ready for something that's very similar in tone, especially with the final 15 minutes of the movie. It's good. It's watchable. I would give it a very low B-.
Okay.
So after Weapons and everything I watched on streaming over the last week, I finally, did my first Mystery Movie Monday at the Regal Cinema.
I'm so proud of you. It only took me a year and a half of convincing you.
I know. I don't know why it took me so freaking long,
It's
but I'm going to
$5. I don't know why it
Well,
took
it's
so long
free
either.
for me because I have the unlimited pass, so I don't know why I've never gone.
So no excuses is what you're saying.
No excuses whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I did finally go, and it was pretty sweet that this film just happened to star one of my favorite actresses on the planet, Lily James. This is the new Riz Ahmed-led Relay.
I haven't heard of this film yet, so I'm really excited to hear what you're going to say.
Oh, cool. I saw one trailer for it, and ever since then, I've just been seeing Lily James post about it on her social media. It's a pretty cool flick. She is a completely different character than what I'm used to seeing her play, which was awesome. And I guess I'm just not a Riz Ahmed fan because he bored the living hell out of me during the movie. Sam Worthington was in it. He was awesome. It's a very cool, stylistic thriller, but I would definitely recommend the movie to you. It reminded me of a far better Amateur.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yes. So I recommend it. It's definitely worth seeing.
It sounds like the best movie you saw this week.
Well, maybe because Lily James was in it, but it's still, I would give it a high B- as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is what I saw in theaters or on streaming over the last week. It was a good week. I didn't hate any of the movies.
Yeah, true.
But, it was still a good time at the movies, and I look forward to seeing this next week of movies because there's a couple other things coming out, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So let's get into these two picks of ours. I believe we are going to kind of switcheroo a little bit. Last week, I went first, but this week I'm going to go first because we're going in chronological order of the year that each of our films came out, even though they are centered on the same theme.
Yes, because mine is a little bit more of a reimagining of this classic story, and so it made sense that mine went second, even though, because this is an even episode, I usually go first, but that's the joys of running the podcast. We can decide what the hell we want.
Very true. And your pick came out just shy of 40 years after mine was originally released.
Another good reason for you to go first.
I know. So now that you know the theme of this episode, let's jump into my film that came out in the year 1953. This film is based on the adaptation of the Peter Pan play by J.M. Barrie. The story of Peter Pan, my pick this week, is written by Ted Sears, Erdman Penner, Bill Peet, Winston Hibbler, Joe Rinaldi, Milt Banta, Ralph Wright, William Cottrell, and Don Christensen. This film is also directed by three fantastic directors. We have Clyde Geronimi, Wilford Jackson, and Hamilton Lusk, and we have animators like crazy, and we'll get into them in just a little bit. This film also has the voice talents of Bobby Driscoll as Peter Pan, Catherine Beaumont as Wendy Darling, Hans Conried as Captain Hook and Mr. Darling, Bill Thompson as Mr. Smee, Heather Angel as Mrs. Darling, and a whole handful of other voice actors that come from the world of radio, especially in this era. A lot of these actors that Disney would cast were a lot of radio actors.
Oh, very cool.
Yes, which I thought was pretty cool as well. Bobby Driscoll, who voiced Peter Pan, had a pretty substantial contract with Disney. He was in several films. He was in Treasure Island. He was also in Songs of the South and several other Disney films. Catherine Beaumont, if you don't know her by name, like I just mentioned, she plays Wendy Darling, who is the one that tells the story of Peter Pan to not only John and Michael, but the Lost Boys later on in this movie. She is also the wonderfully talented voice actress behind the voice of Alice in Walt Disney's Alice in Wonderland.
Oh, fabulous.
And I love her voice. Her voice is awesome. Alice in Wonderland and Peter Pan, I know I say I watch these movies a lot, especially when we were discussing Robin Hood and Jungle Book, but I really do watch these movies a lot. I think I said to you last week that this will be my 5th time in 2025 watching Peter Pan, and that's exactly right, because I've watched it that many times. Wow. So if I could go back, you know when you die and people are like, what would you like St. Peter to tell you about at the pearly gates? I want to know how many times I watched movies. Like how many times I watched Jurassic Park, Independence Day, Peter Pan, Robin Hood, etc.
All of the knowledge of the universe, and that's the question you ask him?
Yeah, all the secrets of the world.
That's just disappointing.
Not really. I just need to know how much time I spent sitting on my ass watching movies that made me happy.
The answer is a lot.
A lot. Wouldn't that be great? It's like, my son... It was a lot. Yeah, great. Fantastic. Where's the bar? All right, let's get into Peter Pan. For those of you that have never heard of Peter Pan, that's impossible because I'm sure a lot of people our age know of Michael Jackson, and Michael Jackson had his own Neverland Ranch as well.
Oh my God, that is not the direction I thought you were going with that statement. Oh,
why not? Michael Jackson was the man. He had a Neverland Ranch. I wanted to go to Neverland Ranch.
Yeah, that's when you're introducing Peter Pan to the audience or the masses, that's not the first place I would go, though. Oh my God. Okay,
well,
get
that's
into
the way
the story.
Yeah, let's do it. Peter Pan opens up with us meeting Wendy and her two brothers and their dog, Nana. And Nana, oh, such a sweet puppy, is the dog that takes care of them and makes she's kind of the nurse of the nursery, which is kind of odd. When I was a kid, I always thought it was strange that the dog was the one giving them this night tonic to put the kids to sleep, before Wendy starts telling them these stories and they go to sleep. But anyway, Wendy is a storyteller. She has two younger brothers, and she is on the precipice of growing up. And her father especially is very, very adamant about the fact that she is going to move into her own bedroom. She's not going to be telling these stories of Peter Pan and living this childish life anymore after this night is over. We come to find out that Wendy has been telling her brothers, John and Michael, the story of Peter Pan and how he is a boy at almost adolescent age that has refused to grow up, who lives in a magical world called Neverland. And the fact that he has this band of orphans called the Lost Boys that live in this really badass tree. Ever since I was a kid, I was like, man, I really want to go into this Lost Boys tree, especially when we actually jump into your pick this week. The one that they created in your pick was, so fantastic. We also learn about Captain Hook and Mr. Smee and the pirates, and the fact that Peter Pan and Captain Hook have this extreme rivalry, and the main reason for this is because Peter Pan has cut off Captain Hook's hand, and that is why he now dons a hook. So it's time for Wendy to hunker down with her two younger brothers and go to sleep. But before they can really get into their REM cycle this evening, Peter Pan shows up trying to get his shadow back because he has been missing his shadow for some time. We also end up finding out that he has been coming night after night to sit on the windowsill on the roof of the Darling house to listen to the stories about him and about Tinkerbell, who is this pixie who starts to really have a problem with Wendy very early on. And I got to tell you, ever since I was a kid, Tinkerbell is hot as hell.
There's so many things I want to talk about, but I'm going to have you explain the plot before we get into all of it.
Okay, sounds good. So Peter Pan is trying to get his shadow back on his body, which is a very interesting little sequence. He's trying to put it on with soap, and even as a child, I was like, what is going on here? This makes no sense. So Wendy ultimately tells him that he can't put it on with soap. She's got to sew it back on, and Wendy starts to tell Peter Pan about who she is, and Peter Pan's kind of a dick.
He really is, and this movie is so sexist.
Absolutely agree. This movie certainly is sexist. It is on the racist side as well. And before this movie starts, there's a title card letting us know that there are certain ideologies in this movie that are absolutely dated. So while Wendy has given a little bit of a breakdown to Peter Pan as to who she is, and she's sewing on his shadow, Peter tells Wendy that he really just loves hearing these stories about himself because not only is he a bit of a sociopath, he's absolutely egotistical and loves to just listen to stories about himself.
Yep.
So Wendy tells Peter Pan that this will be the last night that she's going to be able to tell these stories to her younger brothers, and Peter Pan gets a little bent out of shape about this and decides that maybe he can take her to Neverland so that she also does not have to grow up. So ultimately, Peter Pan, Wendy, John, and Michael end up flying to Neverland with the help of a little bit of pixie dust from Tinkerbell, and they get to Neverland. We learn a little bit about Captain Hook. We find out that Peter Pan, not only has he cut off Captain Hook's hand and now he has to wear a hook, but he also threw his hand to a crocodile who has just got the taste for Captain Hook, who wants to ultimately finish the job.
Which I never understood that connection as a child. It always kind of flew over my head. I think I just didn't care too much as to why the crocodile was so obsessed with Hook. I just knew he was. Yeah. And oh dear God, there's so many things in this movie that are so inappropriate.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Some of the dialogue completely goes over your head as a child, and as you get older and you really listen to it, it's very shocking.
Yeah, especially when Captain Hook shoots one of his pirates, and Mr. Smee's like, oh, Captain, shooting a man in the middle of his soliloquy, bad form. I was just like, oh my God, he just killed a guy.
Yeah, completely shot him. And I love that scene, too, because we find out that Captain Hook is 100% terrified of that crocodile, which ultimately brings on some of the funniest moments in all of Peter Pan.
The best moments.
I would agree with you there. So while this is all happening and we're learning a little bit about Captain Hook and Smee and his pirate brigade on the ship in Neverland, Peter has taken Wendy to the Lost Boys and their treehouse. And he's also decided to show her the mermaids and Skull Rock and really just kind of give her a whole once-over of the island while John and Michael have now become friends with the Lost Boys and have gone on their own little Indian hunt. And for the rest of the movie, we're along for this fantastical ride. As an audience, we are just treated to fantastic music, wonderful animation, spectacular comedy, and a realization that, yeah, you know what? I don't want to grow up either. Now, V, I don't know when you last watched Peter Pan, but like I mentioned just a few minutes ago, I watched it about 2 weeks ago, and I've watched this movie since I was probably 5 years old, so it's been almost a grand total of 35 years of me watching this movie. I love it. I have the vinyl soundtrack. It is one of my all-time favorites, and I'm curious what you thought of the 1953 version of Peter Pan after however many years it's been.
The last time I saw this movie, I was under 12.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe under 10.
Oh, boy.
It's been a very long time. And I think one of the reasons is that as soon as my pick this week, it came out in 1991, that's the only version I watched.
Oh, wow. Okay. There are a lot of other versions of Peter Pan that have come out over the last several decades.
There are. We're not going to talk about a lot of them because they're ass. But as far as this version goes, the animated version, I was really excited to watch it since it's been so long, and I'd forgotten how twisted and messed up it was. And I certainly, all of these very horrible sexist and racist tropes and dialogue in this movie had completely flown over my head when I watched it as a little kid, of course.
Oh,
but
yeah.
there are parts of it that I really enjoyed. There are very key scenes that were so memorable, including in the beginning when Mr. Darling trips over Nana and they both crash in the bedroom. And everybody goes, "Oh, poor Nana."
Poor Nana.
And they run over the dog.
Nana.
Poor Nana. That's it. He's so pissed. That guy is such an asshole. Oh, their dad is the worst. And he puts the dog outside, which makes him even more horrible. And
don't look at me like that, Nana.
He also reminded me of Gaston, though, because he's telling Wendy not to tell the boys stories anymore. Oh my gosh, you're reading? And it totally reminded me of Gaston, where he's like, soon she starts getting ideas and thinking. So I thought that was maybe a little bit of an inspiration of Gaston, who knows. But the messages to girls in this movie are horrific, and I would never show my nieces this film ever. Tink shows up, and the first thing she does is check herself out in the mirror and think that her hips are too big.
Yeah, and they're not.
No. Then Peter Pan says girls talk too much immediately after meeting Wendy. Oh, dear God. And the rest of the movie has little insinuations and underhanded comments about women consistently, and it's pretty horrible. Then when they get to Neverland, this movie's so dark. When they get to the Neverland and the mermaids are messing with Wendy, Peter finally rescues her, and she's saying how horrible the mermaids are, and the mermaid's like, "What? We were only trying to drown her." It's so messed up.
Yeah, it is.
But yes.
I love when they're like, "Who is she?"
Peter Pan
in her nightdress
is a straight up demon. He is awful. And this is basically the animated version of Lord of the Flies, or at least it should be.
Oh, yeah. All right, I can see that.
The crocodile is the best character of the whole movie.
Definitely.
Dun, dun, dun.
I would say Crocodile and Captain Hook and Smee. Honestly, I love me some Peter Pan and Tinkerbell, but
no, Captain Hook is the absolute best. I like Smee in my movie much better than yours.
Oh, okay.
Just because he's got a little more of independence to him, and I really like what Smee does in my movie. Captain Hook is amazing, and there are key moments of this movie that are seared into my memory as a child. I didn't remember the whole movie, of course, but when Captain Hook is getting a shave, I've always remembered that scene, and when he accidentally shaves the seagull.
Yes, so good.
Oh my gosh. So
I've never shaved him this close before. I love that.
And so there were parts of this movie that I did really enjoy, and there were a lot of nostalgic feelings that came up for me. But man, this story is messed up, and I cannot believe it's a Disney movie.
Right? I know. It's pretty wild. In 1904 was when J.M. Barrie actually turned it into a play. And then over several decades up until the Disney version, it was on stage for a very long time. And women played Peter Pan more actually exclusively before Bobby Driscoll was cast as Peter Pan. So Bobby Driscoll is the first male actor to actually portray Peter Pan on film.
Oh my gosh, I'm having a recovered childhood memory of a live action version of the Peter Pan movie with a woman.
Yeah,
oh, God, what movie was that?
I Peter Pan.
Well, yeah. trying to think of what version it was, though. Oh, man, I'll have to look that up. I remember back in the day reading about how Peter Pan was usually played by a woman because he's supposed to be a really young boy with a high voice, so it makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, I'm really glad I rewatched this film because it had been multiple decades, but I don't know if I'd ever watch it again.
Oh, wow.
There are better versions out there for sure. I did love the soundtrack, though. I definitely wanted to say that.
Okay, yeah, soundtrack is great. I'm a big fan of it. I don't know how you'd never want to watch this version again.
It's just too messed up and too dated for me.
Interesting. I guess compared to your version this week, this is certainly a far darker take on
think
the
about
Peter
it this
Pan
way.
lore.
As a woman, there aren't really any characters I relate to or like in this film.
Okay, not even Wendy, huh?
She has...
Not even the mermaids? The Tiger Lily? Nobody?
Okay, well, the mermaids are bitches.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, because Wendy is made to be kind of the party pooper of the movie. And so the way she's written, it's just tough,
I guess to an extent, yeah, she could be looked at as the party pooper.
And just thinking about this island, we were talking about never wanting to grow up. I would never ever spend time on this island. It's full of a bunch of assholes. The Lost Boys are terrors.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. They're orphans. They have no mothers to tell them no. Yeah, they're 100% on their own.
Like I said, it's a Disney version of Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, I think you got that right. That's for sure. Well, all right.
But I don't hate
really
it.
Where to go from
no,
there.
I don't hate it.
Right, well,
I'm not judging you for it. It's just not up my alley is all I'm saying.
I got you. Okay. It's not going to make me love the movie any less.
Well, is it going to make you love me any less?
Well, we'll get to your pick in a little bit.
Okay.
No, not really. I do like your pick quite a bit, but yeah, when we start discussing yours, we'll get into a little bit more of that.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know what else to say other than the fact that I do love this movie and I have for so many years. I have 3 versions of it on VHS. I have the Diamond Classic Edition, the Masterpiece Collection, and the 45 Anniversary Masterpiece Collection. So I have 3 different VHS copies of Peter Pan. Because anytime I would go to Amoeba, I would see a new version of it, and I had to buy it because they were only $2. And when you're a collector, you got to do that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's get into a little bit of the making of Peter Pan. Now, I mentioned Bobby Driscoll was the voice of Peter Pan. He was the first male to ever portray Peter Pan, and this was happening in the early 50s. Bobby Driscoll, unfortunately, passed away at the age of 31. He had a very long contract with Disney. He had a 7-year deal with Disney, and he did up to about 8 different movies. But after Peter Pan came out, he started to age a lot differently than what the studio execs on top of Walt Disney were hoping that he would kind of age into. So they cut his contract early. And Bobby Driscoll, very unfortunately, went down a very, very intense rabbit hole and ended up dying at the age of 31, was found in his apartment, and nobody knew who he was, so he was labeled a John Doe, and he was buried in a pauper's grave outside of Manhattan.
Oh, what a sad end.
Before all of that happened to him, of course, he did the live performance was used as the animation reference for Peter Pan. Very similar to Catherine Beaumont. She went into a studio and acted out everything that Wendy did as a human, and the animators ultimately animated her from her live-action performance of Wendy, which I really like when that kind of thing happens because they actually did the same thing with the young lady that portrayed Tinkerbell. A lot of people think Marilyn Monroe was the prototype for Tinkerbell, but it was actually an actress named Margaret Carey.
I forgot how mean she was in this movie.
I know, yeah, she really is terrible. But I do got to say, when she gets red hot, she's kind of hot. I like her with the red eyes.
Hell hath no fury.
The OG idea for Peter Pan was actually going to originally be told through the eyes of Nana the dog, and Nana the dog was originally going to join the kids in Neverland, but they scrapped that idea early on in the pre-production.
That seems like an overly complicated way to tell the story.
Absolutely. I completely agree. I always liked, though, it always made me laugh when Nana gets the pixie dust on her butt and she's got the rope around her neck and everything. I always felt for Nana, even nowadays. I'm just like, come on, man. Like, don't tie her to a tree.
I know, it's so funny when you get emotionally attached and you have to remind yourself, this is an animated character. There's nothing there. Calm down.
There's no dog there. Walt Disney was a major fan of Peter Pan. He also played Peter Pan in a stage play when he was in elementary school. So it kind of came full circle for him to get the rights for this movie, which is interesting because in 1939, they were finally able to secure the rights for Peter Pan. The original holder of the rights was a place called Great Ormond Saint Hospital for Sick Children in London. Now, at the beginning of this movie, we get all the credits, very similarly to a lot of old Doris Day movies and Singing in the Rain and stuff like that. There's a title card at the beginning of this movie thanking the hospital for giving the rights to Disney to make the movie.
I have a very fascinating piece of trivia about that I'll share when we talk about my movie.
Okay, I'm interested. This was the final Disney animated film that the 9 old men were involved as animators on.
Oh, really? I was always wondering where that streak stopped.
Yep, this is the film that it stopped with. This was Disney's 14th animated film.
Which is crazy because when we were talking about White Fang and Iron Will, we were talking about their 100th live action film by that time. It was
I know.
nuts.
It's really kind of crazy because we've also talked about the fact that so many of Walt Disney's animated movies did not do as well as anybody had hoped in the box office. This film in particular did not do very well in the box office.
That is just shocking to me. This seems like right up people's alley in the 50s, and it's Disney, so it's very popular at that time.
I would think so.
Wow. Did not see that coming, actually.
I didn't either. When I read it, I was actually kind of heartbroken about it.
I bet.
This film, Peter Pan, was actually intended to be the second animated film from Walt Disney Animation, following Snow White, a previous pick of mine.
Oh, I wonder if it would have been more popular back then.
I agree. I feel like now, though, it's more popular with people my age and well, because of a nostalgia thing, and it really just didn't take off until the mid-70s for a lot of people. I think it got far more popular when the VHS was released in the early 90s.
Yeah, I totally agree.
This piece of information kind of blew me away. It was an entry in the 1953 Cannes Film Festival.
Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Because of the fact that not only were animated movies still up and coming, like you said, it was only the 14th animated film from Disney.
Mm-hmm.
It also comes from a very popular story, British story.
Yeah.
So it's European-based, basically, or you could at least argue that. So I could
True.
see how Disney or the producers were hoping that putting it in Cannes would garner some more interest. I could see that happening.
Now that you mention it, that actually makes sense because it is set in London. Like they go to Big Ben for crying out loud.
Actually, now that I think about it, when I went to Cannes, there were animated movies premiering there too.
Awesome. There was an animator on this movie named Milt Kahn. He said that some of the most difficult animation that he's ever tried to produce were the kids floating in midair, which is really interesting to me because I feel like that would be, well, now granted, I'm not an animator at all and I can't draw for shit.
With you. It should be
doesn't
easier.
That seem like it would be easier because they don't have to like worry about shadows on the floor or anything like
gravity?
that? Yeah, exactly.
So
super interesting.
The natural human movements you wouldn't have to worry about mimicking completely in order to make it believable because they're flying in the air. It seems like it'd be much more forgiving animation.
That's exactly my thought process as well. He also said that he really was hoping that he would be able to animate Hook because that was a character that he really fell in love with, but he was assigned Peter Pan and Wendy, and he ultimately was very bored with animating both of them. I can understand being bored with animating Wendy, but Peter Pan I thought would, I don't know. Again, I'm not an animator, so...
Either. They're literally the same character all the time. I mean, think about animating
Wardrobe
Aladdin.
had an easy job on this one.
Yeah. For multiple reasons. But think about Aladdin. How fun that must have been to animate the genie. Or even Aladdin then pretending to be a prince. Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
Going back and forth on that. So animating the exact same character in the exact same outfit for 14 months would have been really boring.
Yeah, I guess so.
I'm just guessing at the timeline, but I'm sure that took a long time to animate this movie.
Oh, yeah. It was around the 14-month range. They started animating it early 1952, and it came out in February of 1953. But we'll get into that in just a little bit. This piece you are going to love. Disney offered the role of Hook to an actor that you are a major fan of. I'm also a fan of. We have done 3 movies with this.
Cary Grant.
Actually, excuse me. Okay, well, shit, that was easy.
Because I love him.
Yeah, Cary Grant was offered the role of Hook, but he turned it down.
No, thank God. Wrong voice.
Yeah, I don't think Cary Grant could have done it. I mean, he can do a lot, but I don't think he could have. Given the
It needs to be a deeper
personality
voice.
of Hook.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be a deeper voice with an English accent.
Yes. Hans Conried really was the perfect casting for Captain Hook.
Agreed.
And similarly to Catherine Beaumont and Bobby Driscoll, he provided the rotoscope and live-action reference for Captain Hook and Mr. Darling as well. And I love him as both characters in this movie.
Oh my gosh. I thought I was such a smart 6-year-old when I realized the two characters were voiced by the same person.
Right? This film was animated in Burbank and in London.
Oh, okay.
Disney Studios in Burbank. I mentioned this film came out in February. February 5th of 1953 was the release date of Peter Pan.
Man, no. Christmas movies. That's where Disney and animated movies and family movies should always be released.
Around Christmas time?
Yeah.
Or at least
weird.
after Thanksgiving. At least Thanksgiving through the new year. Yeah, I agree.
Or summertime where they're not going to school. February. What a terrible time to release
February,
a kids movie. No wonder it did poorly.
I agree with that one. What do you think the budget on Peter Pan 1953 was, V? Budget for Peter Pan.
Oh, I can tell you already. I'm going to get this wildly incorrect. I'm going to guess... You know what? It's the 14th animated movie. I'm going to guess $14 million.
Wow, you were off by $10 million. It was a $4 million budget.
Oh my God, that's it?
Yeah, $4 million.
That's impressive.
I agree.
It really did
for
poorly
everything
at the
that
box
is
office
included.
then. Holy shit.
Yeah, it didn't do great, which is very unfortunate. But at the same time, like we mentioned, it really picked up and completely took off on VHS sales.
Well, and it's not like Disney's hurting for money these days, so who cares?
Not these days. The opening weekend for Peter Pan in February of 1953 with a $4 million budget came in at $957,000. The worldwide box office was $87.4 million for Peter Pan.
That did really insanely well. What are you talking about?
It did do very well. Yes, that's worldwide. Of course, you have to figure the re-releases, which has happened several times.
Oh, it's not the original box office.
No,
that's
that's
total
not the original
okay,
box office.
like,
Yeah, that's the total worldwide box
Okay,
office
'cause
from
that's
1953 to now.
Okay, I thought it was just 53. I was like, that's a bananas number. Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
I wish it were the highest grossing movie of 1953, but for 1953, the highest grossing film at the time with a box office gross of $36 million was a film called The Robe, which I've never heard of, and maybe one day I'll check out. So that is Peter Pan, everybody. If you have not seen it, my version, anyway, from 1953, it is currently streaming on Disney+. Unless you want to borrow one of my VHS copies, you will never get to borrow one of my VHS copies, but you can always come over and watch it with me. But I think it's time to jump several decades into the future and discuss V's pick for this week, a very similar story.
Yes, that's right. We're jumping ahead several decades, both literally and figuratively, actually, because not only was this movie made multiple decades after yours, it came out in 1991, but the storyline takes place multiple decades after yours as well.
I know. I'm excited to get into this one. I think I've only ever seen your pick 4 times in my entire life.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So that's like once a decade.
I'm actually kind of surprised by that. I figured you'd really love this movie.
I like it, but there's a scene in this movie that makes me truly not like this movie. And I'm not trying to be funny. It really, really is. I do not like the scene. I don't like how it's delivered, etc., etc. However, everything else is great. But yeah, it's one of those moments in a movie that is like, I looked away when I watched this last time because I just couldn't stomach to see it. And I'm sure everybody's going to think I'm crazy about this, but it is what it is. So we'll get into it later. But yes, I do like the movie. It's just not one of those Spielberg, Robin Williams movies that I'm like, oh, I love it. My wife, though, absolutely loves this movie. And I like it.
Okay, well, we'll get into that in just a minute. Wow. Didn't see that coming at all, honestly. And so let's get into exactly what movie I chose this week. I picked the 1991, as you said, Steven Spielberg, Robin Williams classic.
Oh, yeah, I totally blew that. Sorry.
No, not at all. That's totally okay. And it also stars Dustin Hoffman. This is Hook. Hook is special for a couple of reasons because, first, it is a live-action film.
Mm-hmm.
Second, and more importantly, this is showing us a story of when Peter Pan decided to grow up.
Which is really, really awesome. I gotta say, I really like that whole aspect of it, and I like the way... We'll talk about it.
Yes, I thought it was such a creative way to tell this story again.
I completely agree.
We are introduced to Peter Banning, played by Robin Williams, and he is a hotshot lawyer. He is a corporate lawyer that sounds like he does a lot of very big property deals, very big contracts, and he seems like he probably gets paid a lot of money, but along with that, it means he works a lot of hours. He has 2 kids, Jack and Maggie, and a really lovely, understanding, and forgiving wife, because I certainly would have lost patience with this man long before this woman does.
Isn't that funny? So many movies like this in the 90s came out, and it's the exact same kind of storyline where the wife is like, oh, I'll take care of the kids, and it's okay. You're making the money for us to live a comfortable life. But it's at the same time, as an audience member, you're like, wake the fuck up. Like, this guy is like not involved in your life at all.
No, he really isn't, to a point that he's starting to lose his relationship with his son Jack, who's getting very frustrated by this situation because Peter is missing all sorts of big events, including his baseball game. It's so cute, it was a little league game, and it was a very important one for Jack too, and Peter ends up missing it. And all this is happening when Peter's trying to do the biggest deal of his career, and they have to go back to London for some sort of big celebratory event. It turns out Peter was born in London and was an orphan, and Grandma Wendy rescued him and raised him. And in the midst of his daughter doing a play of Peter Pan before they leave, we find out that Grandma Wendy is actually the Wendy who J.M. Barrie based his story on because they were neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So Wendy is quite an older lady.
Well, who plays Wendy? And wasn't she born old?
Maggie Smith, and I've discovered why we think she's always been old is because she was only 56 at the time, and they used aging makeup for her.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. It's still, though, it's one of those things, and what's also crazy about that, I'm sorry, I just wanted to get this out. Mm-hmm. The aging makeup is exactly how she looked in Downton Abbey.
Whoever was the makeup artist on this movie deserves so many honorary Oscars for...
Oh, yeah.
calling how she aged. It was absolutely incredible. And I think that's why you and I always associate her as an old lady, though, is because we saw her in Hook when we were like 6, and she seemed very old, ancient in this movie.
Yeah.
And so that was in 91. We've always associated her as this old woman. And so then as she goes into Downton Abbey, as she becomes Professor McGonagall in the Harry Potter stories, she's still old. And we're like, wow, she's been old forever.
She has been old forever. And hats off again when we get into these movies, but with Back to the Future, whoever did the makeup for Biff, that's exactly how he looks now.
Yes,
it's insane. It's crazy. I don't know how they were able to do that. And that's why I believe time travel is real. It's like the makeup artist's like, you know what? Give me a sec. I got to use the restroom and go through a teleportation thing and go like 30 years in the future. Like, that's what you're going to look like, and come back with all the references and all the makeup they need. Anyway, getting back to Hook, yes. But that is very true. I think that is a perfect way to look at that, is since we were kids. Absolutely.
Yes, and getting back into Hook, Peter and his family are now flying to London. It turns out Peter Banning hates to fly. And I don't know if you ever noticed this, but did you catch whose voice it was over the loudspeaker, the pilot's voice during this flight?
I did. Yes, I did.
That is Dustin Hoffman's voice. And that is actually a nod to your film with the lead villain playing 2 characters, or voicing 2 characters. Mm-hmm. So everyone gets to London. It turns out that the Children's Hospital is dedicating a massive wing to Grandma Wendy because of all the children that she saved. And there's this beautiful scene with Peter actually speaking at the front of this event and showing how much of an impact this woman has made in children's lives. And it's such a wonderful, poignant scene that they added to this movie. I think it was really important to see how impactful that she was. But during this sequence, when they're all in London, I never picked this up as a little kid because you just don't. But now as an adult, watching Robin Williams playing a terrible father, a raging asshole, completely absent. You hate the guy in the first 30 minutes of this movie.
Oh, very unlikable.
He did
which is fascinating because, he did. But Peter Pan in mine was a very egotistical, self-centered person as well. So there's not much of a difference there with the character, but it's one of those things where the casting was done so great that Robin Williams never played such a character before. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those things that even to this day, I'm kind of like, oh man,
I didn't see coming. Yeah.
Yeah, because he wasn't that way in Mrs. Doubtfire. He was a completely loving father. Of course, he worked, but he was always there for his kids.
And then Aladdin the following year?
Right, yeah. And I actually saw Mrs. Doubtfire before I saw Hook. So I think the first time I ever saw Hook, I was like 15 years old or something like that. And it took me a long time to see Hook. And I was just like, wow, yeah, this guy sucks.
He really does. And all of this culminates with, while they're at this event, this dedication event, something happens to the children back at the house. They come home, the lights are off, the house is damaged, the children are gone. And there is a message left in a rather stunning fashion with a large saber saying that a Captain Hook has stolen his children and requests the presence of Peter. Nobody knows what the hell's going on. No, everyone is confused by why these children would be taken, what this message is all about, until Wendy pulls him aside and tells him this story.
That was when you decided not to go back to Neverland.
Where?
To Neverland.
Mora! Gran, I'm gonna go get Mora.
Do you know, I've tried to tell you so many
Maybe
times.
the cup of tea's ready.
And I
Chamomile.
knew you'd forgotten.
Listen, I'm not ready to deal with this right now.
Peter.
What?
The stories are true. I swear to you. I swear on everything I adore. And now he's come back to seek his revenge. The fight isn't over for Captain James Hook. He wants you back. He knows you'll follow Maggie and Jack to the ends of the earth and beyond. And by heaven, you must find a way. Only you can save your children. Somehow you must go back. You must make yourself remember.
Remember what?
Peter, don't you know who you are?
And that's when Phil Collins randomly shows up as a police inspector.
That was great.
Didn't catch that as a kid? Certainly did now.
Oh, yeah.
It was just a little cameo, but I wanted to call it out.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is real. Peter is Peter Pan all grown up. Wendy is insisting upon it. Of course, Peter doesn't believe her in any way, shape, or form. And instead, it's in order to deal with the fact that his children have been kidnapped, he decides to get completely drunk and pass out in their room, which is understandable. And that's when Tinkerbell shows up. Tinkerbell, played by Julia Roberts, who is my most hated character in this movie.
Oh, really?
She was such a... she's just so annoying in this movie.
She's a little annoying, yeah.
She was apparently a terror on set as well. They called her Tinker Hell.
Oh my gosh.
Julia Roberts.
Wow, I didn't know
there
that.
There are notorious stories of her being awful in this film. Now, granted, she had to act in front of a green screen almost the entire time, and apparently that was a crappy experience, which it is. Any actor will tell you.
Most actors do not like green screen work.
And rightly so, but... You're being paid tons of money. There's no excuse to be a bitch on a movie set.
Yeah.
Ever.
I think I've mentioned before, some friends of mine have worked with her, and I heard unfortunate stories as well, and it's very sad to hear that kind of thing.
I've never heard a good story about her. I'm like, how did she even get work in Hollywood then? You're not allowed to be a bitch when you're up and coming in Hollywood.
Well, it works for some people, apparently.
Apparently, yeah. So Tinkerbell shows up, grabs Peter, sprinkles some pixie dust on him, and off to Neverland they go. And that's where he wakes up the next morning. And this is the story of Peter rediscovering who he is, trying to save his children from the grips of Hook, reintroducing himself to the Lost Boys and trying to convince them to help him. And from there, it really turns into a great adventure movie.
Mm-hmm.
And 40 minutes into the movie, I can't believe we had to wait this long, we get introduced to Captain Hook. Who is incredible in this movie. Dustin Hoffman knocked it out of the park.
Completely agree. I love Hoffman in this movie so much.
So much. He's my favorite character, along with, this is the movie I actually love, Smee, because Bob Hoskins plays Smee.
Right.
Bob Hoskins from Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Love Bob Hoskins on the show. He was wonderful talent. He is so hilarious in this movie. I love every interaction between him and Captain Hook so much, especially when Captain Hook threatens to shoot himself. Smee,
that
don't
is
try
my
to stop
favorite
me.
scene of the entire movie.
Don't
try to stop me, Smee. Don't try to stop me, Smee. Stop me. I am contemplating suicide. I love that whole moment. So hysterical.
Oh,
so
God.
good.
It's so good. Yes, everything about their dynamic is so wonderful, and the sets are incredible. They built all of the sets. They're so fun and colorful. It's exactly how I'd imagine Neverland in real life. The interactions he has with his crew are hilarious, especially with the first interaction between him and Peter being this corporate lawyer douche who still doesn't understand or remember who he is. And so he tries to pay off Hook, and Hook shoots his checkbook, which is so fantastic.
That was awesome.
The guy behind him drops dead.
Yes, love that.
And this is also when we get a quick cameo by Glenn Close.
Yeah,
Did you also ever catch that David Crosby, the musician, is also a pirate?
Absolutely, yeah. I think I caught it this time, though. Before in the past, when I've watched it, I might have been either looking down or smoking a bowl. But I caught it this time. And I was like, ha! Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young. Not a big fan of their music, really, but I know who the guy is.
And, speaking of cameos, when Tinkerbell is taking Peter back to Neverland for the very first time, and some of her dust lands on a kissing couple over a bridge.
Oh, yes.
That is George Lucas and Carrie Fisher.
I knew that part, too.
Ah, damn it!
Way before this podcast, I have seen this movie, and I did do a lot of IMDb searching of a lot of movies that we've done on this podcast, and I've forgotten a lot of the information, but that one was one I did not forget.
Okay, well, moving on to hopefully some trivia you don't know about.
Oh, I'm sure.
But finishing up Hook, the last couple things I want to talk about before getting into the trivia is... There are so many good one-liners from Dustin Hoffman. We could just keep talking about him, actually.
Why not?
How did you ever manage to fit into those smashing tights again? I love that line so much. Oh, he's so sassy. But the last thing I did want to talk about before getting into trivia is through the rest of the movie, Peter's, as I said, is trying to rediscover who he is and save his children. And I was so blown away by how believable Robin Williams was doing action.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, very, very good at physical action.
He really was, and this turns into a legit action movie. There's good action in this film. It's a kid's film from 91, and it's still exciting to this day.
Completely agree.
So that's a short summary of Hook for anyone who hasn't seen it before. Highly recommend. And now I want to talk a little bit about the cast. I'm not going to go into very many credits just because we all will know these people by name. Robin Williams, Dustin Hoffman. This is actually our... well, technically fourth if we count the Holiday movie that he's been in that we've done.
Ah, yeah.
He's great in everything he does. Maggie Smith, as we mentioned. Bob Hoskins. Amber Scott plays his young daughter Maggie.
Yeah, I recognized her. Was she the one in that movie with the seal, or was that Tina Margarino?
That is absolutely someone else because this is her only credit.
Oh, wow. Oh. Interesting.
Which is really too bad because she was great in this film.
She was really good. I liked her over the kid that played Jack, honestly.
I think she's much more talented than he is. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, that was Charlie Korsmo who plays Jack. He was in Dick Tracy First.
Oh, yeah. He's the chicken-eating kid.
Which I think he was much better in Dick Tracy than he was in this film.
Well, we'll find out soon.
He's not bad in this movie. He's just not Henry Thomas in E.T. great.
Yes. I completely agree.
Charlie Korsmo also had a small part as a teenager in the movie Can't Hardly Wait, which I actually like better than American Pie.
Oh, wow. I think I've only seen Can't Hardly Wait one time in my life, way back in the day. Okay. I don't really remember any of it.
I liked it a lot.
Except for Jennifer Love Hewitt.
I liked it a lot in high school. Charlie Korsmo went on to become a lawyer. He doesn't act anymore.
Really?
Yeah. But for the character of Peter Pan's son, Jack, Joseph Mazzello was considered for the role.
And who was that?
Well, Steven Spielberg at the time thought he was too young for the role, but really liked him. So he kept that kid in mind for a future movie and cast him as Tim in Jurassic Park.
Ha ha! I'm embarrassed that I did not know his actual name.
I'm embarrassed for you.
It's funny because I've only ever seen him in Jurassic Park, The Lost World, and then way in the future in The Social Network. And I still, yeah.
Joseph Mazzello.
Cool. Well, all right.
And Steven Spielberg originally asked Sir Richard Attenborough to play Toodles. But Richard was busy because he was directing Chaplin, a great movie. And Spielberg once again kept him in mind and cast him as Dr. John Hammond in the Jurassic Park films.
Sweet.
So a lot of ties to Jurassic Park in my film.
Yes, you mentioned that the other night. I was like, how is this even possible? Now I know.
Love it.
The more you know.
Dun, dun, dun. And James B. Hart wrote this script for the movie. He wrote Dracula, the one with Anthony Hopkins and Keanu Reeves in it. Muppet Treasure Island with Tim Curry.
Oh, so great.
Contact with Matthew McConaughey and Jodie Foster, which is a future pick of mine.
Yes, I look forward to rewatching that because I've only ever seen it twice, I think.
Tomb Raider 2, which is ass.
Oh.
And one of the films of mine that you actually the only film of mine that you ever vetoed, August Rush.
Ah, okay.
But he did also write a guilty pleasure of both of ours. He wrote Sahara.
Yeah!
Which we love.
Sahara is great.
One of the biggest box office bombs in history, and I don't care.
That's so fascinating that it was such a bomb with, I guess McConaughey wasn't the household name that he is now, and I guess Penelope Cruz wasn't at the time either.
Matthew McConaughey wasn't as respected as an actor at the time. He was coming off of like Fool's Gold and all those other bullshit crap movies that he was making at the time.
How to Lose the Guy in 10 Days.
All those movies. Anyway, and also, Sahara is based on a book series, an adventure book series by a man named Clive Cussler.
Oh, yeah, I know Clive Cussler. I know the name. I've never read one of his books. I want to, though. I hear they're a lot of fun.
I've read every single book in the series, and there's 27 of them.
Holy no. That's just too many books. Amy's reading a series right now. She goes, you're going to like it. There's only 8 books. I'm like, then I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to spend 8 books. I can't give my time to that. But that's great. I'm glad that you've read them and you enjoy them.
They're all standalones. They're like James Bond films.
Oh, okay. Well, see, when you say a series now, Grant, okay, now that makes sense.
It just has the same character in it.
Yeah. Gotcha.
But he's a scuba diver and an adventure seeker and finds treasure. Literally all of my favorite things. And so he is one of my all-time favorite authors. I love him. He was so pissed about every single aspect of this movie and then told his entire fandom that he hated Sahara. He hated Matthew McConaughey being cast. He hated the script. Hated everything. And so no one showed up to the movie because they were told not to.
Whoa. Damn, Clive.
Yeah, that's, I think, the biggest reason why it bombed.
There you go.
But I think at some point when we do guilty pleasure films, or just action films in general, because we're unapologetic about loving Sahara, we'll pick it.
Yeah, no, totally. That is unapologetically a fantastic film, and my wife is a big fan of it too.
Maybe you'll do Sahara and I'll do John Carter, and we'll do box office bombs together.
Hey, that could be good, because I have not seen John Carter.
Yeah, there we go. Okay. And so back to Hook. This movie was supposed to be a musical. In 1983, it was a vehicle for Michael Jackson.
Whoa, interesting.
But instead, Steven Spielberg decided to focus on Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom and shelved the project for multiple years until 1989 when pre-production began.
That is pretty wild. Well, good on him for doing Temple of Doom, because Temple of Doom is fantastic.
No, it's not. But I don't think a Peter Pan movie with Michael Jackson would have been good.
In the 80s, it might have been. It just certainly would not have aged very well.
Good point.
Especially after Michael Jackson perished.
Both good points. Okay. And so originally, the movie that we see today that's live action, it originally had a shooting schedule of 76 days and a budget of $48 million. The actual numbers were 116 days of shooting and $80 million budget.
Wow. That ballooned.
Steven Spielberg said he began to work at a slower pace than he usually does. It was all his fault. He took responsibility for that. And the original cut of this film is 3 hours long.
Release the Spielberg cut.
Release
the Spielberg cut. Right. We need a Schumacher cut of Batman Forever. We need a Spielberg cut of Hook. And this is for Nick at Bad Movies We Love. We need a Henry Selick cut of Monkey Bone.
I agree with everything but the last thing you said.
Yeah. But you'll agree with it once you see the Henry Selick cut of Monkey Bone.
Would never. But because it's given me an opportunity to mention him 2 weeks in a row since we've been back, I'm so pumped. David Bowie turned down the role of Captain James Hook.
Whoa!
That would have been awesome.
I don't know.
Think of him as Jareth in Labyrinth. He's so great at being cocky and sexy. And
was he sexy? I didn't really think he was very sexy.
God,
Gareth,
yes. But. And metrosexually evil. God, he's so great in Labyrinth.
He can definitely be a bad guy, and I don't know if I could see him with a long black curly-haired wig. And
you saw him in a long blonde wig?
Yeah, but that made sense. I don't know.
He would have been awesome. He would have been great.
He probably would have been awesome. And if it had gone that route, then we would not have known any other route. So in a studio universe, I would watch the Bowie version for sure.
But I would not watch a version with any of these guys playing Peter Pan. Tom Hanks, Bill Murray, Tom Cruise, and Steve Martin all auditioned to play Peter Pan.
Tom Cruise, I could lean more.
Yeah.
I could lean a little more Tom Cruise than any of the other ones. Of course, that's for sure.
Absolutely. But here's the thing.
Bill fucking Murray? No.
No. But first of all, he was way too young in 1991. But more importantly...
That's true, yeah, because he was pretty young.
It's such an extreme change that Robin Williams goes through from being the uptight lawyer to Peter Pan Yeah, Tom Cruise can play an asshole. Look at him and Jerry Maguire at the beginning of Jerry Maguire. Perfect example. But this idea of, okay, but underneath that suit, he could totally kick some ass. That's what you'll be thinking the entire time, right? Whereas Robin Williams, he was wearing a bit of a fat suit. He looked poochy. He didn't look like he could run up a hill, let alone fight Captain Hook. So I think the transition was so much more extreme because it was Robin Williams.
I can get behind that.
And therefore more impactful.
So Steve Martin, though, that would have been weird, too.
So
because he already had white hair in, 1975, so that would have just been strange with darker hair on Steve Martin. I don't know.
And as all of us have seen watching this film, there are a lot of extras. There are a lot of pirates. The whole set is filled with people, especially during some action sequences. It's really well made. It seems like a big, epic movie. Really great. Yeah. And so that means there were long shooting days. It was probably hot. They were in these heavy, multi-layered costumes. It's a lot. At being an extra or doing fight sequences and just being on a set with that many people. And
absolutely.
So Bob Hoskins would alleviate stress on set by singing various versions of Lionel Richie's Hello by saying, hello, is it me you're looking for?
Oh, wow.
And then he bought beer for over 300 extras after a very long, complicated scene was shot.
Well, that's badass.
The guy was a real one.
Yeah.
And he also wakes up all the pirates by shouting, "Good morning, Neverland!"
Love that moment.
It's a reference to Robin Williams' movie, Good Morning, Vietnam.
Love that. Good Morning, Vietnam is a great movie.
It really is. Why isn't it on our list?
I don't know. I guess we're going to have to add it. We might have to flip a coin for that one.
I have a lot of Vietnam movies I could totally pick.
Great. Well, then I'll take Good Morning, Vietnam.
Or other Robin Williams movies I'd be happy to pick, too. So
that, too. I actually have the Good Morning, Vietnam soundtrack on cassette tape, oddly enough.
Oh, my God. Get rid of it. Nobody listens to cassettes anymore, and the quality is shit.
No.
Oh, the compression that goes into cassettes is not good.
I'm a collector.
You're a hoarder. Anyway, Bob Hoskins and Robin Williams. He's not. Bob Hoskins and Robin Williams died within a few months of each other in 2014.
No kidding. Wow, oh my God. It's been 11 years already?
Yeah,
fuck.
Sucks.
That does sucks.
And in this movie, Hook, another Lost Boy has taken over leadership of all of the Lost Boys now that Peter has been gone. His name is Rufio. Rufio! And there's a point where Rufio threatens Peter with a sword. And it actually comes down and stops right in front of his face.
Yeah.
In order to film that, they had to shoot it backwards. So it starts at his face super close, and then he pulls back. So we're not risking Robin Williams' life. And so he had to say, "You're dead, jolly man," backwards.
Ah, very cool. Ooh, so this is like early Tenet shit. I wonder if Christopher Nolan's a fan of this movie.
I don't know, but he did such a great job saying it backwards because I've never caught it.
I am going to have to go back to that point and watch that and just kind of break that down. That's really, really fucking cool.
Yeah. And because we're doing it in a couple weeks, I think this is such great timing. Peter says, "Hello, little bug," to Tinkerbell when she first shows up at his house in London.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's what Robin Williams says the following year in Ferngully. He says, "Oh, you're a strange little bug."
That's right. Oh, I'm excited to talk about Ferngully. That's going to be a fun episode.
The original Avatar. I'm so pumped.
Oh, yeah. Super excited. Going to be fun.
And it's just a couple weeks away. Now, for Hook, Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams, and Steven Spielberg did not take salaries for the film.
Well.
They split 40% of TriStar Pictures' gross revenues from the film.
Oh, good gosh. Spielberg knew what the hell he was doing.
Oh my God. And then he traded the points for Star Wars.
Star Wars? Oh. He made more money than George Lucas on Star Wars. That is out of control.
The first time around, he definitely did.
Yeah.
That's okay. Close Encounters of the Third Kind went well. So
oh, hell yeah.
Lucas wasn't completely left out in the cold. And this is one of 2 films to be released in 1991 that used the line, "Second star to the right and straight on till morning."
Really? What's the other one?
The other one also came out in December. So these films were released only within 2 weeks of each other.
Ah.
Star Trek IV, The Undiscovered Country.
Really?
Yep, Captain Kirk says that line. The last piece of trivia I've been holding on until the very end because I think this is just such a wonderful piece of information. Peter Pan is the only book that will not lose its UK copyright protection.
Really?
All of the proceeds have always gone to the Great Ormond Children's Hospital. J.M. Barrie gifted the rights to Peter Pan to that hospital in 1929. That gift has provided tons of money to help support the work at the hospital, which is wonderful. Now, copyright and patents protections usually expire. And in Europe, they would have expired 50 years after his death. But a former prime minister, Lord Callaghan, successfully proposed an amendment to the Copyright and Patents Act of 1988 to ensure the Great Ormond Street Hospital has the unique right to royalties from stage and performances of Peter Pan and any adaptations, including publications, audiobooks, ebooks, etc., in perpetuity.
Wow. Damn.
So forever, no matter how many versions of this story is told in any form, the royalties will always go to that children's hospital.
That is badass.
That is...
I support that big time.
One of my all-time favorite pieces of movie trivia that we've ever had on this show.
Yeah, that's pretty spectacular.
Wonderful. And I wanted to say that before I say the budget and box office of this film because it did really well. And therefore, a lot of money went to the children.
Awesome.
In the U.S., it grossed $120 million, which is okay. It almost doubled its budget. We're getting there. But
for 91, that's real good.
Yeah. But worldwide, it grossed $301 million.
Wow.
So it did
Hell yeah.
really, really well. And that is not including all of the VHS tapes that were sold at the time, which was a mountain. I can tell you.
I was going to say astronomical.
My parents were one of those people who purchased a VHS. I remember watching this in my household. I was 5 or 6. I think I watched it right after it came out. I was very young. And so when Tinkerbell says, "You silly ass, go," to Peter, I remember being shocked knowing that was a bad word when I was a little kid. Oh, I still think about that to this day because it was such a core memory for me. I was like, oh my gosh. She said a bad word.
Hook says it to Smee in that scene that we were talking about earlier, too. He's like, "Get off your ass, Smee. I'm contemplating suicide." Yeah. So 2 asses in one PG-rated movie. Mm-hmm. But no, I anytime there was a bad word in any movie that was not G-rated, I would always be like, oh, and like look to my parents and like, it's fine. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to hear that word.
So, John, I apologize. I believe I'm a little bit rusty at this because I usually ask you your opinion of the movie before I get into the trivia, and I'm so sorry.
I just didn't think you cared. I was just sitting back here like, I guess I'm not going to get to talk about my opinions of Hook.
I will always care, even if we disagree. So,
yes.
Let me know. What do you think of Hook watching it after all this time?
I think the last time I did watch Hook was within the last 5 years. I remember when Amy and I put it on when we were still living in Hollywood. And I think it was the day that we found it at Amoeba on VHS. So I do own a VHS copy of this. My wife actually picked it for one of the movies that she wanted to watch while she was recovering from her heart procedure just over the last few weeks. But I like the movie. I don't love it as much as I love Peter Pan. I really
disagree.
I know. A lot of people will likely disagree with me on this one. But it is a good movie. I love the practicality of it. I love the comedy of it. The food fight scene is so awesome. The whole getting around the table always kind of tripped me out until I finally, as an adult, started to realize, use your imagination, all that kind of stuff. But and I mentioned this earlier, there's one scene that I don't like in this movie. It's very, very small, and it's supposed to be a very sweet moment in the movie. And I'm not going to ruin it for anybody. I told you before we were recording what scene it was. Oh, okay. It's the scene where Peter tells Jack that his happy thought was him. Now, while that is absolutely, a father's happy thought is his son. Sure, totally get that. The way the scene is delivered by Robin Williams freaks me the fuck out. I don't like it.
I never knew why you hated the scene.
Oh, yeah. No, the way that Robin Williams delivers it freaks me out. It makes it look very inappropriate.
Like creepy?
And the creep status. And the way that he very clearly is stuck to wires and tries to float away, they didn't cut in time to make it. There were some editing problems in that sequence. Now, there's another thing there's another thing that I also don't like about this movie, and it's the way that they use the crocodile. It always rubs me the wrong way, and it still does. And even the finale of the crocodile makes no sense to me whatsoever. And I've talked to my wife about this several times. I'm like, I don't understand how this is how it went down, etc., etc. Other than that, I like the movie. It's good. The soundtrack is great. However, it's very similar to how I felt about the Last Mohican soundtrack, where it's literally the same 19 notes for 75 freaking minutes.
Blame
it's
John Williams.
Change it up. Of course, it is John Williams, yes. But that's the thing, is John Williams has so many great scores. There's something about the Star Wars soundtrack, the Jurassic Park soundtrack, that are vast and just complete orchestrations. Harry Potter, a lot of John Williams soundtracks. The Hook soundtrack especially towards the final 25 minutes. It's just very like, it feels Toys R Us. It feels like you're just cranking a Jack in the Box, and it's just like the same notes over and over and over. Yeah. But I
just keeps playing the theme over and over again. I get it.
Yeah. So those three things, as we're talking about it, I'm realizing more things that I don't like about the movie. Although I still do like the movie.
Let's stop talking.
I do like the movie. I like Robin Williams' performance. And his wife, Moira, very sweet British woman. Smee is great. The pirates are awesome. It is an enjoyable movie. It's just not one that I gravitate to watch all the time. And that's where my wife and I disagree.
Doesn't the woman
and apparently you and I too.
Yes, we do. But that's okay. You don't hate the movie. But doesn't the woman
I
who
don't
play his wife Moira, Caroline Goodall, doesn't she seem like a Richardson? Doesn't she seem like she'd be Natasha Richardson's sister?
She kind of reminded me more of like Kristen Scott Thomas, or like somewhat like a pseudo Emily Mortimer kind of. But I could see that too, or like
Emma
a Jolie
Thompson.
Richardson.
Yeah. But yeah, Natasha, Jolie, this woman, Caroline Goodall, she always seemed like she was maybe related to them. Obviously, she's not, but to me, those are the first people I thought of. She reminded me of.
Gotcha. Yeah, but overall, I do like the movie. There is another scene that actually I roll my eyes at, but it's only because it's so ridiculous. It's right in the beginning of the movie when Peter is in his office, and one of the other guys is like, "Hey, Peter," and they like holster their fucking cell phones, and then the secretary like does a fake ring, and they like do the whole draw thing, and like, "Oh, you got me again, Peter." It's like, okay,
douchebags.
We know this guy is addicted to his work. Like, did we really need this moment to show us? But either way, yes, I give the movie like a B+. It's definitely a very enjoyable movie. I like it. Hoffman's fan-freaking-tastic. And I think he kind of overshadows Robin Williams in the movie, personally.
100%.
Okay,
without
cool.
question.
Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, Robin Williams is the best. I'm like, yeah, but Dustin Hoffman as Hook, because
steals every
Hook in
scene.
the animated Peter Pan steals every scene in the animated version, too.
Well,
overall, good time.
Okay, that's good to hear. But I'm wondering in the 3-hour cut if the crocodile was still around at the beginning.
I would love to know that. That's what I'm saying. Release the Spielberg cut. Let's do this. But yeah, it's a great movie. I'm very glad that you picked it, and I think it's definitely the right choice for my pick this week. So yeah, very good movie, and certainly rewatchable. If I had kids, I'd show it to them. I'd definitely show it to my nieces and nephew as well. Absolutely.
Oh yes, I think that's a good age for them to watch it too.
Definitely. So that is what I think of Hook, your pick for this week.
That's all totally fair.
Well, I'm glad you think so. I'm curious to see what our audience will think of my opinions.
Yes, let us know which Peter Pan film you prefer. So that is Hook, my pick this week, and unfortunately you can't stream it anywhere, you can only rent it.
What a fun episode. What a way to relive our childhoods and go to Neverland for just a couple of hours before we have to get back to this bullshit we call real life. And
I mean, gestures broadly at everything.
Yeah. I do love being an adult, but I certainly hate it at the same time, so I can understand why Peter forgot that he was a child, because being an adult really makes you miss being a child. But anyway, that is our episode here of Movies You Missed Podcast, episode 174, coming at you with 2 Peter Pan films. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I certainly did. And V, it sounds like you also did?
Oh, absolutely.
Wonderful. So V, I'm curious. I'm sure you already have. But would you watch Hook with your grandmother?
I absolutely watched this movie with my dad's mom, and I think that 7 or above could probably watch this film without getting too scared.
With Hook? Definitely,
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, putting Glenn Close in the boo box was terrifying when I was a kid, but but there were a lot of the other darker things that just flew over my head as a kid, so it didn't matter.
Absolutely.
And John, would you watch the original Peter Pan with your grandma?
I would say at least 10 times growing up, I watched it with my grandmother.
I think
and she's probably
17 and above for that film.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, the Peter Pan animated version is very dark. Make sure you have the lights on when you watch it.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, I'm glad that we both enjoyed each other's picks, and next week is going to be a lot of fun. I am excited to get into both of these movies. I've seen both of them countless times, mine far more than your pick, V, but I do love your pick. So why don't you tell everybody what we're doing next week, V?
Well, I chose this movie based on your pick for next week. It was your turn to pick something, and so I paired this movie with yours. And based on what you chose, I thought this would be the perfect pairing, and I hope you agree. I picked a movie from 2013 directed by Guillermo del Toro. Most people forget he was the one who directed this action film. This is the sci-fi now classic because a lot of people love this movie now. Pacific Rim.
Yeah. I saw this movie in the Dome at the ArcLight on Sunset Boulevard. Oh, hell yeah. My buddy Joel and I got lit as hell and went down to this movie. So much fun. Can't wait to revisit it.
Me too. I really love this film. It's just one of those movies I don't think about too often to talk about, but I'll definitely throw it on every once in a while when I'm in the mood for it, and I enjoy it every single time. So please feel free to follow along with us because it is currently streaming on Netflix.
Awesome. I will watch my DVD copy. I think there's a 4K, which I absolutely need.
Oh, yes, you do.
Pacific Rim.
Oh, God. That is such a perfect movie to be turned into 4K.
Oh, hell yeah. Those kaijus are so badass.
And what kick-ass action movie did you pick for next week?
I chose a movie that came out 15 years before your pick. This film, classic. Absolutely. 1997, Casper Van Dien, Dina Meyer, Denise Richards. The only good bug is a dead bug. If that's not a hint enough for you, this is Starship Motherfucking Troopers.
I could not.
And if you care to follow along,
wait to talk about this movie.
I can't either.
So much fun next week on this episode.
I can't wait. And if you care to follow along with us while we watch Starship Troopers, it is also currently streaming on Netflix. I have the 4K, and I'm going to tell you right now, it is a chef's kiss 4K transfer.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah. It looks absolutely incredible. I've probably watched
CGI?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yes. Even with the CGI, I think since I've had the 4K, I got it last summer, I've watched it 5 times. And I've seen this movie way more than 5 times. So I can't wait to get into it. Paul Verhoeven, here we go. Let's do this.
Very excited for next week.
Hell yeah. So again, stay tuned, everybody. That is the end of episode 174. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Please do rate, review, subscribe, follow us on all social media. So stay tuned again for next week for episode 175 for Pacific Rim and Starship Troopers. And here at Movies You Missed Podcast, we love to close out every episode with film is a form of art, and in art, all opinions are valid, except if you think.
We didn't talk about this at all during this episode, and I have no idea why, because we usually do when we have a themed episode like this one.
Oh.
We haven't talked about all the different movie adaptations of Peter Pan.
Oh, yeah, no, we didn't.
There's the 2015 version Pan with Hugh Jackman. There's
terrible movie.
Peter Pan and Wendy that came out in 2023 that I hadn't even heard of until
I
getting ready
never
for this
saw
episode.
that one. I want to see that. I do.
There's Peter Pan from 2003, starring Jason Isaacs as Captain Hook.
Oh, interesting. I don't know about that one either.
And there's some other Disney straight-to-video releases as well. My point being, my except if you think this week is... except if you think the story of Peter Pan should be continually remade into other movies. There's only been 2 good ones made. Stop while you're that far behind.
Well, I'm going to push back on that a little bit because there is a movie from 2020 called Wendy that was directed by the guy that did Beasts of the Southern Wild. His name is Ben Zeitlin. Wendy from 2020 is actually spectacular. I watched it on HBO Max when it first came out. I loved it, and I've only seen it one time, but it is fantastic. Highly, highly recommend people checking that version out.
Wow, I've never even heard of that film. I think it probably slipped under my radar because it was COVID.
It slipped under a lot of people's radar.
Maybe you should pick that when I do Beasts of the Southern Wild.
I could do that, yeah.
I
haven't seen Beasts of the Southern Wild in years. I liked that one, too.
It certainly sounds like an underrated film.
It's very, very underrated.
Okay.
Yeah, so there it is. That was a long except if you think.
Yeah, I think our longest one.
Yeah. All right, guys, we'll see you next week. Cheers, everybody.
Bye-bye.